We're in it. I'm reclined so far back in my chair, and I stuffed the mic directly in front of my face with a wind filter so my breathing doesn't get caught in the recording. But I'm reclining. It's gonna be a very chill cast. Actually, I'm super nearsighted, so being this far back means I can't actually see the screen properly. So at some point, I'm just gonna have to like subconsciously lean forward and forward more and more. But for now, it's a very comfy position to be in. Very typical game so far. Nothing out of the blue. Except 3 members on blue team haven't bought anything. Okay, there we go. We've confirmed they're not dead gerbils on the keyboard. They can buy items. Well, actually, the dead gerbils on keyboard thing is still quite up for debate, I say. Alright. There's going to be a very early invade. Who are they going to catch? So here's the thing. The mic boom arm is actually in my way, so I can't see the minimap. Oh, misfortune. Oh, Italy. Oh, okay. They're both going to make it out. The dredge line doesn't actually find the target. Good. Good. We're going to start this game now after that little awkward scuffle in the jungle. No damage dealt by anybody. Not even a word kill. No early casualties. Very civilized all around. Elise does have a very early ward. Nidalee, which camp is she going to start? If she starts red, she's going to be spotted out. Not too big of a deal. Just a little bit of information given away, but honestly, it's a very predictable bit of information anyway. 3 seconds off. We're going to start the game. Let's begin. Zed mid against a Swain. Swain is definitely very interesting. Ever since the change made to him when they took out the 5 stacking thing, I think on average he's gotten quite a bit weaker. Now that he's technically another infinitely stacking champion, although of all the champions in the game who infinitely stack up, he probably has the lamest one. Each stack just gives him 5 permanent health. You might say, oh, but that's a better Scion, but Scion can get it way more often. And also Scion makes use of HP a little bit more than Swain does. I wish it did a little bit more. Even if it like boosted your ultimate damage by 1 or something. 1 per stack. Still would have been really good. I kind of assumed that was the case at the start, but no, it turns out it doesn't even do that. It's just HP, and Warren's dead. Right? No, okay. Level 1 Ignite, not enough to kill. Mordekaiser can definitely bully the Ornn quite a bit. Although Ornn probably loves fighting Mord. This is not a matchup that's rough for Ornn, for the most part. Oh, is he gonna do it? No. No, if Mord was really dumb and walked next to the pillar, he could have died from that. The brittle onto the knockup is so insane. The root does land onto the Zed. Zed has to run. Zed kind of looks like... That skin makes Zed kind of hard to identify for me. Maybe it's because I am far back and I'm just nearsighted. But he looks way more like a mix of Talon and Yasuo than Zed. Oh, but the trades are coming in the 2v2 MF. There's a huge Nautilus in her face, and the Elise is here. Flash, repel. Bard is dead, first blood, but there's gonna be a return kill. MF does get the return kill, but she also died, so she doesn't inherit the double buffs. Meanwhile, Nidalee top setting up for a gank. Is this gonna happen? Red buff's taking on the Ornn, so Nidalee can't tank this tower. She has to back off. That one auto actually costed them that dive. And now the counter is coming out. Swain gets found out. They're gonna go on him. Zed flashes in, shadows in. The Swain does die to the Mordekaiser anchor, and Nidalee picks it up again. Ornn trying to help his friend, but gets killed off as well. Lesson learned, children. Don't help friends. Friends will only hold you back from gaining elo, as demonstrated by the Ornn. And also Nidalee is even more blind than I am, missing that spear. Although I can't really blame people for missing skill shots on Scuttle. Scuttle sometimes jukes like a monster. He didn't really juke that as like a monster, but still. In general, I don't really mind. Well, I'm pretty desensitized to watching people just miss scuttles all day long. Nidalee is gonna lose her Raptors to a counter jungling Elise, and the Elise is now mid lane. This is a very easy cocoon. She can land it. Is she gonna do it? No, she turns into spider form. The paralyzing bite, not finding that much damage. Nearly leaves the game, and now she's back immediately. Oh, dang. Interesting discussion point. Would it be better or worse if after you left the game, an AI played for you until you either reconnected, or if you just don't reconnect, you'll just be an AI for the rest of the game? Now, the League AI is pretty notoriously garbage, so I think it's unequivocally a bad thing if it gets taken over. But this is not a system that's unique in any way. Like popular old, like super old MOBA games that are more niche, like EOTA, not Dota, EOTA does this, where if a player disconnects, an AI subs in for them, and the AI in EOTA is generally quite competent actually, so you, for the most part, you wouldn't even miss the guy. And also just because it was a Warcraft mod, if you disconnected, you're not coming back. So there's also that. So the AI substitution is very welcome. Other games like Civilization, for example, also have an AI substitute in for you if you leave the game. Would it be better to damn yourself to an eternal 4v5 or have an AI teammate? Now in League context, you just damn yourself to a 4v5, of course, because when you have an AI teammate, it turns into a 4v6. But I wonder if the League AI was ever improved to a point of competency. I wonder if that was a thing. That would be a thing. I still don't think so, but at least if nothing else, if the AI is semi-competent, at least make sure that even if the guy is coming back, they're not just woefully behind by the time they do return. Because they still have an AI at least trying to play the game for them. But while that entire spiel was happening, there were a lot of bodies dropped top lane, bot lane I mean. So we're gonna take a few tallies here. Silver walks away with 1 kill, 3 assists, didn't die. Misfortune didn't die either, and she actually got 3 kills off that, so it's pretty positive for the ADC side for blue team. And that huge scuttle ended up in Elise's death, as well as I believe Swain and Nautilus, and something like that. Pretty huge kerfuffle. I would have yelled at that if I wasn't busy monologuing about some random stuff. But that's okay. These early skirmishes are rarely consequential anyway, as shown by this game, the League of Throws. Ooh, the pullback gets negated by the Bellow's Breath, and now Misfortune has to run. There's a very angry Anchorman. He does find the anchor from a long range. Repel comes in, and that map's gonna be nuked out. No chance of survival there. At least picks up a shutdown kill. Nidalee's made her way down here. Can she do anything? They're gonna... No, they can't take the second plate. So they are gonna go back. I think Nidalee at least stopped the dive from happening, so that's good. The grab onto the Zed. Ooh, here comes the Bardo. The Q lands, spell shield blocks nothing. A Meep gets taken out by the spell shield, but Sivir is gonna die immediately, and here comes Emma. She's made her way back. The bullets are coming in hard and fast. Bard Q finds the kill, but Cocoon wraps up the Nidalee. She has to flash away. She's so low. Flash bite kills off the Elise, but kills off the Nidalee, but the Elise also has no way out. So Misfortune claims the counter kill. She's quite a bit behind in CS just because she died at a really unlucky time, but she definitely has the kills to make up for it. Meanwhile, mid lane, Zed's holding a pretty healthy lead. Early Seeker's arm guard for the Swain as well, just to lane continuously against the Zed. The Swain is also a character that will really appreciate an early Catalyst as well, just so he could at least decently sustain himself with spellcasts. Swain actually has pretty intense amount of problems early on, despite the fact that his Q refunds him. Just because the Q refund is simultaneously tiny and it costs a lot of mana to even use. Ooh, Mordekaiser slapping the Ornn around. That was a single target mace. The Ignite might be enough to kill him off, but the Orn Horn doesn't actually find anything. At least kills off the Mordekaiser before Orn can get his hands on it. The true damage Ignite, not enough to finish him off here. Zed gets the Electrocute proc off. He's gonna go for it. He has Deathmark up. He's gonna flash in for the Deathmark. Ignite is up. He's gonna blink back under the tower. The Deathmark, the Ignite is taking. Oh, it's not enough. He actually lives. Oh, that's unfortunate. But Nidalee has to run now. There's a very angry spider on her tail. She's gonna try to turn it around, but there's no damage on either side. Meanwhile, bot lane, MF gets that solo kill onto Sivir. Where's the support? The support has roamed his way mid. Nidalee and Elise disengage away from each other. But Nautilus is also here. Nidalee misses the far range pounce. This Scuttle, they're not giving up on this fight. They actually still want it. Nidalee finds another spear onto the Nautilus, but here comes the Cocoon. Cocoon does whiff. Sweepers sweeps out the word, shutting down the vision. Nidalee gets found out. The spit, the repel. Ooh, Elise is committing for it. I made a very unsavory noise at the end there. Forgive me. No death still. That was a scuffle. Oh, here comes the Death Realm. The Kidnap is here. Elise does have the repel up in just a little bit, right? That's 3 seconds away from repel. She's not gonna die from this. There's no way. The Cocoon will save her. The grab! Ooh, just barely enough to flash forward Q. He's committing to it. He has no Death Realm. He can't catch up. Flash burn for no reason, essentially. And Orn, healthy as ever, comes back with Catalyst of Aeons. He can start building Abyssal Mask whenever. Once he gets Abyssal Mask, Mordekaiser's gonna have an even harder time in this lane. Nidalee takes a Drake in the meantime. She's gonna go back to jungling. She does have a healthy CS lead already at least, but that is to be expected. Nidalee farms stupidly fast. Mordekaiser still doing his best. He's pushing this Orn in a lot just by virtue of having better wave clear. Oh, Bard knows Nautilus is there. He wars it out, but now he has to run. Yeah. Mord has better wave clear and a resourceless wave clear, but he really shouldn't be up that far. Orn can kill him if he ever wanted to. Depth Charge does find it. She gets grabbed back by this Swain and pulled back again by the Nautilus. The flash, the ignite, it's gonna take it. She will make it to the relic. She's actually fine. Oh my goodness, with a clutch coffee cup, saving her life there. And now Bard has turned it around. Swain pops his angry birdie form, but here comes the Nidalee. Cat eats birds. She's going to go for the eat. Oh, be careful. He doesn't have the flash, but the burst is coming out. He has no damage left, and he's going to die. The ram finds his way onto the Mordekaiser. The brittle head kills him off. But meanwhile, the Elise is down here. Zed finds her out first. Miss Fortune healed up to about 400 health. She can go back in if she wants. No, they will disengage from here. Elise not going to find anything. Solo kill up top, making the 1-for-1 overall. But Swain was the target mid. He's working on his Rod of Ages now after the initial detour for Seeker's Arm Guard. Finally picking up some core items that can sustain him. But he still has a very angry Zed to contend against in mid lane. He's very close to finishing Duskblade. He might have it already, he just hasn't back for it yet. That plate fell, but Zed was not there to collect the money. Shadow in. Ooh, those shurikens flew so wide. Not gonna get it. Nidalee has to be careful. Nautilus is here. He does have the CC to hold her down for a decent amount of time, but he doesn't have any friends in the immediate vicinity. Miss Fortune. Ah, she's fine. She can still lane against the Sivir here. 5-2-2 is her scoreline. Very strong, very early. It's a positive outlook for her. Bard gets the cocoon up and the fight breaks out. On the hunt comes in. The speed boost is coming, but they're going to run face first into bullet time. The CC not there to stop the Miss Fortune, but Nidalee takes too much and she will die. Elise flashes away with a fraction of her health. The root is in place. She will die. And now there's two very low people. The Miss Fortune kills off the Sivir and they die with each other. And now it's just a Bard with the Nautilus. Bard will have more health and he takes a 2 for 3 overall. Very close fight in the bot lane. Meanwhile, top. Abyssal Mass X complete on the Ornn. He's going for Mercurial. Well, Mercury Treads. Not Mercurial. Mercury Treads. I don't know if I agree with that. But we'll get to that later. The Ram comes in. The charge comes in. One more brittle hit will do it. Mordekaiser dies. Yet again. Yeah, Ornn is definitely in a position to solo kill the Mord over and over. I don't think he's fully realized just how free these trades are, because he hasn't been committing as aggressively as I think he should. But getting the solo kill, getting the off solo kill every now and then is definitely encouraging. And now he's so far ahead of the Mordekaiser. He just finally got Rylai's Crystal Scepter done on top of tier 2 boots. But this paltry amount of MR not gonna be enough to stand up against him. I don't know if you want to go Mercury Treads this game. So here's the thing about Mercury Treads versus Tabai. Tabai is by far and away the better boots, if your opponents have no CC. And in this case, your opponents have no CC. The case for Mercury Treads, yeah, Nautilus died, but who cares about him? The case for Mercury Treads is that it offers you MR and it offers you tenacity. But a lot of people just kind of look past the tenacity, I want to say. Like in the case of this Ornn, he thinks he's going up against a Mord. So yeah, more MR. Yes, please, let's get the Merc Treads. But the thing is, he's not considering the other parts of the boost. A boot is far more than just more movement speed and some baseline stats. Mercury Treads gives him 35 tenacity. Ninja Tabai offers him 12% damage reduction on every auto attack. That is actually an insanely good buff for almost anyone. Especially, it's not just the armor component. Almost every champion in the game has to auto attack. And Tabai is a direct way to reduce that. Oh, the Cocoon actually flew past him in the Death Realm. Elise is gonna die. She's just stalling out the inevitable. And blue team takes the Drake. But yeah, Ninja Tabai, a 12% reduction onto auto attack is insane. This is way stronger than armor. Like just the baseline armor stats, or just the baseline MR stats. 12% mitigation, assuming you're decently tanky, actually makes up a significant chunk of armor. And look at how many auto-based champions are there. Like even Zed would like to auto attack you because his passive does execute damage on autos. Oh, the horn! It finds Misfortune. Misfortune will flash away. She doesn't have bullet time. And this fight has to be tried to disengage. They can't possibly fight this. Very angry Birdman in their face. The explosion kills off the Misfortune. Mordekaiser is so low as well. The Ricochet not enough to kill him off. Red team wins the fight off the back of a sloppy reset. They're gonna take a tower off this. Ooh, hoo, hoo. I mean, look at the amount of CC they have blue team. For the sake of counting absolutely everything, I'll include even non-traditional CC, like Death Realm. Death Realm is a 7-second crowd control, technically. But you can't reduce it by tenacity. You can only instantly cancel it by cleansing CC. While like Alistar Ultimate or Cleanse or QSS or whatever, you can't reduce that with Mercury Treads. It's not like you have 50% tenacity and just magically lasts half as long. Nidalee doesn't have CC. Zed doesn't have CC. The slow barely counts. Misfortune has a slow. It's a 70% slow, but it's also an AoE slow, so you can't reduce that with tenacity. You can reduce it with Swifties, but you can't reduce it with tenacity. Bard has a stun, and Bard has a stasis. The stasis is not affected by tenacity. So of all the things a Mercury Treads can cut in this game, you're cutting out Bard's stun. That is so low value for your boots. Just because you're laning against a Mord doesn't mean I don't think you should buy Merc Treads. Because you have to, especially from a guy that's supposed to be tanking everything, examine the state of the game as a whole. Look at the rest of blue team. They have several auto-based champions. Even Nidalee wants to auto you at some points. You have a Zed who can auto you on top of his combo. Misfortune goes without saying. Even Mordekaiser needs an auto attack to actually proc his passive. And in these cases, especially in the mid to late game when you're actually fighting the rest of blue team, Tabai is just much more valuable than reducing Bard stun. Speaking of Bard stun, Bard dies. Deathmark does turn it around. Bullet time on the very cusp of it finds no damage under Zayas. And now literally stranded. There's 3 very angry people from red team chasing her down. Here comes Mordekaiser flying in with the blast cone. He traps away the Nautilus and brings him into a cage match. He is going to get that kill, and he pops out right beside the Swain. He's stolen Nautilus' stats, but this is enough for him to win this fight. Yes, it will be. The solo Mace Smash finishes off. Ornn flashing away from the Make It Rain, but the slow is lingering. He needs to try to run away. Doesn't run away in time. Red team loses a 1-for-4 team fight. Only killing off the Zed, who, let's be honest, was kind of a catch out to anything else. And that's going to give blue team Baron Nashor, which is incredible. It's just 20 minutes into the game. Baron cannot have spawned at a better time. Elise has respawned. She's going to try to run in, but it's a little bit too late. The Mordekaiser passive is still burning down the Baron at a crazy pace, as well as the rest of blue team's damage. Blue team takes his Baron buff. All 5 members, Zed respawn in time. A very good buff. At a very golden time. But speaking of Baron buff, they do need to push with this, because lo and behold, red team still has their tier 1 turret at mid lane. That needs to be changed. It's not every day you see mid lane losing in turrets, but somehow the team losing in turrets takes Baron when the enemy team still has their outer turret up. That's definitely not something you see every day. Taking Baron buff requires a lot of lane priority, just because it's so easy to get turned on. But taking that ace, pretty good. That'll definitely enable them to grab a Baron, even though red team still has their outer turret at mid. Excuse me. Ooh, the spear lands on Swain in the back when Lily gets caught out. Death Realm kidnaps the Nautilus yet again. The Ornn Horn coming out, slamming only one person in the backline. The Death Realm is wearing off, but Nautilus will die at the last possible second. Bullet time comes in, strafing the red team. Swain will die, and now Ornn is stranded. He doesn't have enough tankiness to make it out. He's not taking too much damage. The Ornn W negates the Bard ultimate clutch play, and that's gonna let him walk out of there scot-free. But still, red team gets a retreat, but they have to leave behind 2 bodies to do so. That's gonna give blue team their 3rd Drake, and now they are on soul point. They're holding a very tiny gold lead for how many objectives they have in the game. But that's all about to change. When this siege begins, it's gonna cascade into this huge hurricane. We'll see if red team has what it takes to stop it. Silver gonna try to wave clear to the best of her capabilities, but the tower is falling quick. Blue team takes another one. Now they're on their way out. The Zed, ooh, he finds some damage onto the Swain. Fast recalls coming out. Blue team going for a reset. Red team can't make a catch off the back of this, so now they have to figure out what to do next. They will go around and look for some more income. Strap in, bucko, because a hurricane is coming. About a 4,000 gold lead. 23 minutes in. No, if I just said that in a vacuum, probably wouldn't be too much of a deal. But look at the objectives in this game. Blue team far and away the better team here. Deathmark gets turned on to Elise, but Zion's Hourglass stops the application entirely. On the hunt gets popped to try to secure Elise's escape, but it's all for naught. The Bard ultimate will find nothing, but Nidalee will find the spear onto the Ornn. Are you sure about jumping him? You can't possibly kill this guy. And she will flash away, realizing her mistake. But that's Nidalee flashed down. She wants more. Dredgeline finds her. But do they have the damage here? They don't have a carry sitting here. Swain is the only one who can output anything. Ornn tries to turn it around. He does have the Ornn Horn, but it's a very awkward angle. He gets kidnapped into the Death Realm. Nautilus will die on the side to the Nidalee. And here comes the one-man Ornn Horn in the Death Realm to buy himself some time. But the rest of red team is being slaughtered like cattle. They're being driven back into their own base. Swain pauses Bird Form just to walk away. Kianya, a very terrible misspelling of Kiana, dies in the portal. Blue team once again 3-0, just winning team fights like nobody's business. They have the superior composition and the superior carry dealing damage. Sivir was absent for that entire fight. They're gonna start the siege. And they got it. Surrender team fails for red team. 2 yes to 2 no. So it seems like a pretty big chunk of red team still believes that they can make something happen here. But the gold lead has ballooned, as it ought to do when one team just had the momentum and advantage. From 4k now to 7k lead. 4k is okay. 4k is probably still kind of even given the mid-late game phase. But when the goal lead gets up to 7, then you're looking really antsy. And when it gets up to 10, it's probably insurmountable. And red team is looking very likely to fall very far behind. I mean, just look at these level differences. Ever since the removal of catch-up EXP in jungle, Elise just can't catch a break, especially for an early game jungler. She's just being outstripped by the Nidalee in almost every capacity. Warren had to upgrade her Zhonya's Hourglass, which is probably the best thing to upgrade in that arsenal, although he probably should have picked Infinity Edge first. Since patch 10.5, he can only upgrade items 1 level slower than he used to. And really, if you're going to upgrade anyone, upgrade your Sivir. She's the only one on your team that can do damage. Elise right now is probably going to be useless now until the end of the game. Look at her level. She's level 11. She's tied with the Nautilus for lowest level in the game. She's being outstripped by the enemy support and 3 levels below the enemy jungler. Not a very bright outlook for her. Even with Spider Bite, she can't secure objectives over Nid. It's not possible. Nid has her own execute and nuke. They are going to go for a 2-man Baron just to support an AD carry. The dual lane. The dual Q, in fact. They're gonna take this Baron under the enemy's noses. They do have a missing ping out. They're wondering where they are. But as soon as they see someone else from blue team, they're gonna try to call that off, right? No, they still want to check. But they know Nidalee is bot side, so they're like, oh, they can't possibly be doing this. So now it's a little bit too late. The Ram, not enough to steal it, but the Misfortune will die for her sins. The Cocoon catches her out, and now the rest of the teams are collapsing in. Elise is going to try to find the spite onto the Bard. She repels out of the way. Bard ultimate not going to hit it, and the single Neurotoxin kills him off, and now it's a 3v5 at mid lane. Mordekaiser kidnaps the Swain, but Deathmark applies onto the Sivir. Sivir is so much of red team's damage, and she's walking around doing absolutely nothing, not autoing a single thing in her way. Mordekaiser pops onto the Death Realm, giving her a target, and now she has to try to kite back. Mordekaiser has her in his clutches, but he will die before he can do it. Zed is so low, and they're gonna win this fight with a heavy man advantage here. Nidalee is the only person that can still fight, the only person that is still up. 2-man core trying to chase her down. She's so far ahead of the Nidalee. The Nidalee so far ahead of the Elise. I can't talk. She can squash a spider like an insect. Even though spiders aren't insects, they're arachnids. Bellows Breath not enough to get the brittle off. Oh, Nidalee, 1 spear can mean her end. Sivir is here to reinforce as well. They run and kill this Nidalee, but Nidalee's just wasting so much time. Sivir cancels the recall. You don't want to do that, you're so low. Misfortune flashes in. 1 auto will do it. And now Elise being caught out. The orange charge not enough to cancel bullet time in time. He's gonna try to walk away, but he can't possibly walk away. There's just so much damage being put out. Nautilus is here, but he's alone, and he's a support. What can he do? Swain just decides to ditch. He can't possibly help this man. There's a broken man on the ground, and this is gonna be Infernal Soul for for blue team. What a scary soul to contend with at this stage in the game. 28 minutes in, blue team has 2 Barons and 4 Dragons, and red team has nothing. The gold lead so close to 10,000. We'll round up from 9,000 and call it 10. This is now an insurmountable lead. It will take a ginormous throw from blue team to even give red team a chance. The death mark is not going to be applied here. On the hunt gets popped. They're going to chase down Zed. Zed does turn around with the death mark. He's going to jump onto the Elise. Elise has to try to run away. He's totally fine. They just blew so much. They blew Sivir all too. And they're not even gonna take Zed to half. The Tendrils not enough to wave clear. The Bard Q out damaging the Tendrils, which is just a sad sight to see. But here comes the Oran Horn. It's gonna hit onto the entire bot lane. Mordekaiser here is Mordekaiser is here to help. Oran gets a shutdown on the Misfortune, and Mordekaiser is so huge, drags 2 people back into the burn zone, and they're all gonna burn to death around him. 2 deaths so far, but there's no AD carry for blue team. Silver's still up. Nightfall gets put on her. She has to try to wave clear this, but she has so little damage. She has a ton of farm, but does she have the items to back it up? Nidalee lands the spear. She's gonna go for the pounce. She does get the pounce, but it's cancelled out by the spell shield. Bard is not going to find the stun either. Mordekaiser kidnaps the Silver into the death realm. She doesn't have QSS, and she's gonna burn in the death realm alone. Swain is the only healthy person, but now Zed has jumped on him with the death mark. He ignites him, so he has a shadow back. 3 for 4 in general, but 2 people on blue team left alive, and they're pounding the inhibitor. They take it away. Swain is the solo defense for red team, and he has to try to protect these towers. The inhibitor mid has spawned, and it's gonna be not long for this world. At least respawns. She has to try to run in and do something. Swain is here. He wants to help, but this is a death sentence. Yes, he is. He dies to the Mordekaiser, and Mordekaiser is gonna pound the spider, squashing her. And Elise scurries back to her fountain and gets some heals. She just respawned. That's not a positive outlook. Oran is back as well. The angry goat not gonna find a target here. He doesn't have the Oran Horn, so Zed will run away, and so will the Mordekaiser. 2 men alive for blue team at the tail end of that fight, but they took so much away from red team's own base. Now they're gonna go for a very slow, lazy reset, grabbing a few camps on the way out. How much gold is he pocketing? Wow, he's pocketing 2.5k. He's still not back? My dude, he can insta-buy an item here. Just go back. Oh, 118 gold. That's juicy. The blue team core, they know one more push and red team will fall apart. It's very unlikely they can stop this push. This game is frankly a gimme. They just have to not screw it up from here. Zed's gonna run in. Ooh, the shuriken combo chunks out almost half of Lisa's health. Bardock catches out Nautilus during his Q, so he got a glorious shot of his butthole. As if it was a bronze statue. Vision of Empire, not enough. Oh my gosh, these dragon explosions. They're almost never noticeable, but it's so satisfying when you just see the explosion. Make it rain. They're just laying down too much pain. This tower just falls without any further contest. This is it. This is the final team fight. Red team has to do something or watch themselves lose. Triple inhib is too much. What the heck is this? Alright, there's no someone's padding the vision score, I guess. Here comes the engage. The Oran Horn comes down. The ram is going to be knocked in. It hits the Nidalee, but only the Nidalee. Bullet time comes in, and there's so much damage. Nautilus is going to be the first to go. It seems he's so low. He gets a depth charge off in time, but the Oran Horn hits onto 2. The charge knocks up 2, and here comes the Nidalee. She's so low. She has to try to run away. Bar portals away. He has nothing more of this. Silver runs in, but she's running in alone, and she's going to die to the Zed. And suddenly, red team has no more damage left. The Swain is here. He doesn't have ultimate. Nidalee flashes back. She wants to get a paralyzing bite off anyone, but she doesn't find the target. The death realm kills off the Orn, and now Nidalee is still healing herself back up. This is a full house Mordekaiser that the Elise has to contend with. She's still 3 levels below the Nidalee, and the Zed will try to apply the death mark, but Zion's Hourglass bites her a fraction per second, but that is a 4 for 2. More dismal than their last fight here. Not to mention, they just got triple inhib, and the Swain is so far away from home that there's no way he can make it back in time. Nidalee's spear goes wide, but she has more than enough damage to finish him off. And now the Zed riding so many minions in the red team space. Blue team has more minions in red team space than red base. The red team, I mean. Surrender comes out and the game ends. 33 minutes in, almost 34.